you now.
Yes. Oh, we're live. Hey, everybody.
Easy peasy.
We just decided we were going to roll in a little early because, you know, you get to see our faces for a few more minutes. And what a gift.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. So, let's see. I'll wait until 7 o'clock to actually start saying anything important.
What do you mean? This is clearly important.
This is the behind the scenes blooper reel that you're gonna get for a little while.
This is where we do awkward things.
Yeah, we can do the robot and make faces.
Just gonna back it up.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Hi Bruce.
Oh hey Bruce.
Yeah. Hello Jenny. So I know some of the people on here. They're regulars, and
Nice.
hopefully you guys don't mind if I call you by the name that I'd normally call you. And hi Friggy. Jenny from the block. And then hello to Instagram land.
Yes. Hello down there.
Thanks for tuning in. I'll just kind of like slowly make my way into the intros. Because you know we're gonna be live and we're not gonna be able to answer every single question, but we are gonna try to do the best we can. But in Instagram land, since you're so far away and your letters are so tiny, I'm not gonna be able to really even pay attention to your.
I can wait.
Yes, and we're gonna go ahead and try to answer as many of your questions as kind of like throughout the interview if you're familiar with our process of interviewing. Please make your comments and your questions polite. I definitely have been bullied on here before, and I will block your ass, so don't bully me, or don't bully her either.
Quick with the delete.
Yes.
Quick with the block.
Very quick.
Yeah.
And if you could just hold your questions until the end of our actual interview, we might actually be answering some of those questions that you have already. And if you think that you might forget them, then go ahead and write them down. And we will definitely try to answer as many questions as we can at the end. So just to give you a brief intro, my name is Dia Dynasty. I am a professional dominatrix in New York City. And Lucy Sweetkill and I have this fun Monday Periscope live broadcast every week, and we have a special guest of interest that is somehow connected to kink or sex positivity, alternative sexuality. Yes. So today we have the beautiful Ashley Paige.
Stop it. Thank you for having me. It's
yes,
good to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And so please tell us a little bit about yourself, like your pronouns, what you do, who you are, etc.
Well, I am Ashley Paige, Mistress Paige to some. I am a professional dominatrix, a kinky travel companion, a licensed massage therapist and healer. I do a number of things. I'm a content creator as well, but all around kinky individual.
Yes.
My pronouns are she and her, and I live in New York.
Yes. And how do you identify as a being?
Let's see. I am a polyamorous, pansexual, queer woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing all of the things that you just mentioned previously?
So I have been in the adult industry for 12 years. I have been doing kink in the capacity in which I am for about 10 years now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I was doing, I've hit a number of different roles in the sex industry. So I've danced, I've done porn, I've done domination work, I've done full service work, I've done some of everything.
Nice.
This is my evolution now.
Yeah. So you have ended at the role of kinky companion.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
And
And professional dominatrix.
And professional dominatrix. Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, your history of kink and one of your very first kinky experiences, whether it's sexual or non-sexual?
Yes. I got a number of them. Okay, so let me see, I've been kinky for a very long time. I was kinky before I had a clear understanding or vocabulary or anything of that nature. So some of my first experiences were as a kid, exploring as kids do, and I was one of those that played very fucked up games of cops and robbers and doctor and house and, had a good time with cops and robbers and hog-tying friends and exploring boys' anatomies rather than really being interested in seeing what they would do with me. I just wanted to see what they did if I did X, Y, and Z, and then they could put it away.
Okay.
So first experiences were very young. As far as kink, for a long time, even when I was playing, like I said, I started, and it was rough sex, and I was always very like dominant and switchy, and then I got heavily into my dom side. After about a year when I was doing adult work, and I had a client that had called me when I was in Shreveport, Louisiana, and he called me for an out call, and he was about 5'2", this sweet little Southern man, and he asked me if I could insert these giant anal toys, which I don't remember what they're called. They're these orange ones that kind of like twist and morph, and they're like
bad dragons.
They're not bad dragons.
They're okay.
They're all the same color, and they kind of look like root vegetables.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what they're called either, but I remember them vaguely being like the size of small traffic cones.
Yes, yes, they were huge.
Yeah.
Well, I came over to his place. We never actually used him. I ended up fisting him. He got up to here.
Impressive.
I was, and I have a pretty long arm. So, I fell in love with kink at that moment and have been exploring and pushing boundaries ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it sounds like maybe when you started, you were more in the dominant arena, like were you hog-tying your friends and letting them hog-tie you, or? Nope. You were like, I'm the cop, I'm taking advantage of all the people.
Or actually, I was the robber.
Oh, the
that
robber.
would take advantage of the cop.
Okay. It's like the turning the tables.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love turning the tables.
Yeah. I kind of sense that about you.
Yeah, one special one.
I love it. She's
Holy
somebody you
fist.
want on her team.
Yes.
On your
yes.
team. Yeah. Well, it's her team, but
Technically.
Yeah.
So long as you know the rules.
You want to be on her team. So, in case you're just joining us now, which it's technically 7 o'clock finally,
Yes.
I'm here with Ashley Paige.
Hello.
Dominant extraordinaire. And if you have questions, please hold them until the very end. If you have trouble remembering them, maybe write them down, and we will definitely try to answer as many questions as we can. But we might also just answer some along the way, because we have a few interview questions that may, answer your questions. So, hi, Caesar. So as far as the evolution of your own sexuality, kink aside, what are some, I guess, like surprising changes or lessons that you've come upon? I mean, I think that you kind of covered that with the fisting. Like you were just like, oh my God, I love this.
Yeah.
And I remember that moment where I felt high. I was like, my head was not attached to my body, and I was just like in top space, blissing out.
Yeah. There was nothing to compare it to.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm like, as a queer person that, that struggle to identify with that or identify with your sexuality and figure it out is very real. So in that process, and I do play with a lot of gender bendy things and things of that nature.
I
so
love it. Yeah.
having that experience where I could be so completely connected and inside someone without having a penis, without using some appendage that wasn't attached to me, and being able to feel all of them kind of like close around me.
Yeah.
It was the most intimate experience ever, and that's definitely helped a lot of my kink experiences have helped to shape and mold and help me to understand my own sexuality and figure out that I am super gay. Or like just like a sprinkling of penis, you know, on the occasion, you know. But like even exploring that and exploring like what sex means with men without necessarily engaging in penile vaginal penetration.
Right.
You know, and still being able to have these like really intense, passionate connections and partnerships with people without essentially my pussy being on the table.
Right.
Because that's, when you get into sex work, honestly, before you even get into sex work, when you're a woman, that's what you're told, is that your value is with your vagina. So, you know, exploring all of that was just, it opened my mind. And then exploring things with kink and having this understanding that, like, I was not the only person that wanted to explore without using their genitals, you know, and going past that level, it just opened my mind.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, sex is so many things beyond genitalia that I feel kind of, I guess, really fortunate to be able to explore that with so many people and to be trusted to. And it's such a blessing that I guess that there is an arena for that, but it's also kind of like widely misunderstood as like, well, that's not sex, you know.
Right.
And I think that sex is essentially sacred energy exchange, which is almost like an acronym for sex. And that is like so much more powerful than just like an organ penetrating another organ.
Right.
Yeah, and that's really special.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Have you gained any new insights about yourself and self-acceptance along the way of the kink journey?
Oh, yeah. I am a pervert. Period.
Me too. Me too, exclamation mark.
Yeah, right? Like, period, exclamation, semicolon.
Yeah.
Like, it is a very serious thing. And not just, like... So, I don't know if you know, I'm a Black woman. Certain things definitely, like, they play into your kinks,
Sure, yeah.
And so, like, having this understanding of, like, removing race from certain kinks, you know, or taking away, like, having this understanding of fetishization in that way and, like, being able to remove that and being able to explore all of myself without this, like, thing of, like, because if you're in the Black community, right, or any community where there's people of color, right, it's oftentimes it's like, oh, that's a thing for those over there.
Right,
we don't do that, you know.
Right.
Whereas that's bullshit. I call bullshit, and we get to explore all of this. So, like, really being able to, like, explore and become aware of my own boundaries and limitations with things, and being able to, like, get rid of them and help other people explore theirs, because this job allows me to do that, or this thing that I have the privilege of doing allows me to do this. It's been a lot of learning lessons, infinite learning lessons.
So race kind of being a limitation that you yourself have removed from your interactions. Does that feel taboo in any way?
It does, because I know that's not the world that I live in.
Right.
You know, so, like, even being aware of that and playing on those grays and having an understanding of it, you know, and, like, continuing to explore and, like, check myself and check others, it's a serious learning process, but kind of, like, removing certain things in regards to race and taboos about sexual things or fetishistic things, it's helped me to grow. Like, before I wouldn't, say, for instance, I like toilet training, right? And when I first got into this, I could not imagine doing that with someone that looked like me.
Really?
I couldn't. No. Sounds like, oh my God, my mind was blown. And now, like, after years of exploring.
Oh, because of the American cultural dynamic of black and white? Okay.
That, and also that's something Black folks just don't do. That's what you were taught, you know.
Is it really?
There were certain things, keep in mind, every upbringing is different.
Sure,
I grew up in a Christian home and like all of these things, you know, there were certain things attached to it. So, like, getting past my own holdups about being able to enjoy certain things with people that want to enjoy them.
Right.
Despite whatever they look like or don't look like, you know, and, like, exploring that with people as well. Yeah. You know, like, something I don't do is race play.
Interesting. Okay. I don't do race play either. I've been asked to many times, and I've always felt kind of conflicted about it, because I feel like it's for the people that who really are into it, like I'm sure there's tons of other people that are into it as well, and please feel free to reach out to them. But it just felt kind of disingenuous to me because I never really fully identified as like Chinese. I think that I'm Chinese American. And so like being an angry communist and like yelling at you in Chinese is just like not something that I really want to do and doesn't get me off.
Right.
But there's also like I find that to be interesting because I guess like I've always approached things as the way that you have in more recent times is removing the race. Like I look Chinese and I look Asian, but I don't necessarily have that like cultural sensibility about myself when I'm interacting with other people. I'm not like not like a bad driver. I don't know what it is. It's
right.
Whatever those stereotypes are.
Yeah, and you're not playing into those.
No. And I don't want to. Like, I don't want to keep perpetuating that, even if that's your kink. Like, right. Cool. Like, I don't judge it, but
right.
I'm not
and you can find many a person that would play into that and explore that with you.
Yeah.
I'm not that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very nice. So can you describe, well, you kind of already did describe the evolution of your career, but maybe go into detail just a tiny bit more, like how you ended up here.
Okay. Let's see. So I have been in New York for, I think 8 years now. It snuck up on me.
Mm-hmm.
But how I ended up here as far as being in New York, as far as being a dom in this space,
I think that's a race joke, Phillies, that we don't really get, because I do have a camera, actually. We're talking into a camera right now.
Right? I'm confused.
Anyway, hold your questions till later. Just in the middle of telling a story.
Yes. How I ended up here, I mean, I've bounced around. I'm very much a free spirit and a wanderer, and I have a lot of curiosity, which is probably a virtue and a vice of mine, but a lot of curiosity has led me here. New York is probably not where I'm going to end up, but it's working for this chapter right now. I'm a San Diego native / Texas girl.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Me too.
What, Texas?
Yeah.
What part?
Yeah, I grew up in Houston, or around Houston, and then
Really?
I went to college and kind of, shortly after there in Dallas.
Okay, born in Dallas.
Yeah, oh, hey.
Yep, in Fort Worth.
Big D.
Yo.
That's crazy. I know.
Texas uniting those.
Well, there's a lot of Texans here.
There
so,
are,
yeah.
I've noticed. Yeah. A lot of cool folks that are Texans.
Totally.
Shout
I mean,
out
you can't be like, you can be cool in Texas, but people are gonna be like, you're weird.
Right.
So
You're very much the
we go where we wanted.
Yeah. So jumping around, military brat, and eventually I landed here. Yeah. So I'm here now.
Yeah. So as far as, I guess, your the evolution of your career, I guess it's more. I mean, it seems almost like full circle. Like you kind of started out exploring or playing in a very dominant way, and now you went through the whole gamut of like all the different kinds of sex work, and now you're kind of like, okay, I'm back to being dominant and playing in the dominant way.
Right.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. And now I'm just kind of like exploring it with no limitation.
Yeah.
So it's really nice.
Yeah. And did you ever do this did you do fetish work in Dallas?
Very little. I wasn't in Dallas long. But I did a little bit, and actually, you know what? I lied. One of my favorite people who is watching right now knows me from Dallas.
Oh,
so
right.
yeah.
Big D in the house.
Yeah. I have done a lot of stuff in Dallas, and a lot of my kink exploration started there, and then I started to travel out and kind of explore and travel other places. But yeah, I did a lot of work in Dallas. I was never in a dungeon. I was always independent for the most part, as far as like not working in a house.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you have any insights about that work experience, like house versus independent, that you'd like to share?
I can give third-party information about house stuff because I have not lived that experience, and I would prefer not to do that because there's, first-party people you can go to.
Yeah.
As far as being independent versus...
or any other kind of work experience, insights that you feel like sharing.
Right. Yeah, so I had management, I guess you could say. Way back when this was just with full service escort work. And that's when I really started to explore my kinks and really get into fetish stuff. And that versus like being managed versus being independent, that exploration, developing my brand, developing my business, and really pushing for the kind of clients and the kind of experiences that I wanted to have, I would scream from the rooftops to whoever would listen, go independent all the way if you can. Don't get me wrong. Situations are different for everybody. Sometimes management is necessary for that person in that time. But the time that we're in now, maybe you can do everything yourself.
Yep, you
so
can.
do it.
Yep, you can. You sure can. Yeah,
and keep your money.
Yeah. I mean, spend it where you want to spend it. Like spend it to invest back into yourself.
Right.
But I think that, I don't think it's, like if you treat yourself like a business and like you would treat yourself like a masseuse would treat themselves or like a hairstylist or whatever. That's kind of the approach that we take, like we have business hours and there are certain protocols for contacting people that you want to pay for a service. And, it's really not that difficult. Do you have any pet peeves about that?
About which part?
About the business aspect of what you do. Just curious. I think that's also worth. It's always worth kind of asking because a lot of people out there haven't been socialized to deal with sex workers.
Very true.
And they're just kind of like, are you available at 3 a.m.? And
right.
It's like,
No. Would you hit up your doctor at 3 a.m.? Think of any service worker, right? Whether it's your hairdresser, whether it is freaking mailman, whether it's your barista, or whether it's your doctor or your lawyer, whatever, right? We are technically service workers of some sort. Right? You're not going to disrespect them and be like, you don't have a life. I'm going to dehumanize you. You can't possibly have a family or anything else. You must be sitting on this random island waiting for me to call. No. That's not what doctors and lawyers or hairdressers or baristas are doing. That's not what sex workers are doing
That
either.
may not even be what your drug dealer is doing.
Yo, have a respect for your drug dealers too. Like,
that's a
people
business.
are running your business. Like, have a respect and have some compassion for one's humanity. Like, just because I have a hustle, whatever that hustle is, or whatever my business is, does not mean I'm available at all hours at the drop of a dime because you so choose to pick up the call or scratch out an email.
Right.
And don't hit someone up incessantly because you think that's going to make them answer faster. That will make you seem 1, psychotic, 2, unsafe, 3, not my client, you're going in the trash and you're going to be blocked. So it's not going to get you to where you want to be. Does it make sense?
Right.
The lack of understanding in regards to, this is a big topic, emotional labor.
Yeah. Emotional labor.
It's a huge thing.
I mean, I feel like that deserves its own Periscope broadcast.
Yep, and we're not going to get on there.
No,
we're not going to do it right now.
We'll not do that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I think that maybe there are some people that work 24 hours a day, like somebody mentioned, but those they go in cycles. They don't work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 12 months a year. Right. They maybe have like 24-hour a day cycles for like 4 days, and then they're 5 days off or something like that. I know that nurses do that and doctors do that too.
Right, very true.
Yeah,
very
and
true.
So that's not how we work either.
Nope. And everybody's business is different.
Yes.
You have to have a respect for that, and then be able to we have websites. We have so much information out to let you know this is how we want to be treated. This is how you should approach this business.
Yes. And please respect that.
Yeah, it's really simple.
Because we respect you when you come to us and you say, I don't want to be slapped across the face, and so we won't slap you across the face.
Right.
But if you say, I would love to be slapped across the face, then you'll get slapped across the face. It's really that easy.
Right. It's clear communication.
It's clear communication.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for elucidating that for everybody. Do you have any, do you think that, sex work and alternative sexualities and kink is becoming more accepted in mainstream media or our culture in general?
If you pay us.
Yeah.
Is it being more accepted? Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of things are changing. There's a lot more visibility. Fashion is, putting things forward where you are seeing a lot of kink-inspired things that are bringing it to pretty much people that may not be aware of kink in any other format.
Mm-hmm.
It's bringing, certain platforms, especially some websites, magazines, this, that, and the other, that use our social media, whether through Instagram or Twitter or, Snapchat or whatever, where they're promoting and helping to give this positive light on sex positivity and sex workers, and giving women giving sex workers of all genders this platform to speak and kind of shed light on who we are and humanize us. I do think it's helping to change the way in which we've been viewed. On the other hand, we're living in a fairly terrifying time.
On the other hand.
But on the other hand, it's a fairly great time to be alive. So
yes.
It's like I'm back and forthing.
It's like right now is the time for everything. So there's more of everything. There's
right.
more. There's even more. There's even more confusion. So there's more people being accepting. There's more people that are understanding and open. And then there's more people that are still kind of like using our imagery to sell their products, but won't actually defend us.
Right.
And then there's also more people that are just like outright against it. It's against their religion. It's against their morals. We're selling our bodies and we're harming people and all this stuff. But I definitely see that is just more ignorance too. So it's like, there's just more of everything, and I do believe that there is more acceptance, but there's also more rejection too.
Right.
But I guess on the grand scale, it just it's like this.
It's like it's constantly teetering. So yeah. I'm not sure if it's balancing out or just, I don't know. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. Yeah. It's an interesting time to be alive.
It is an interesting time to be alive, and so if you...
Depending on which where you're at. It's not always against the law.
Yeah, fetish work is absolutely legal in New York City.
Yes.
So, do you have any advice for our viewers or anybody out there that might watch this later about kind of exploring your kinks or getting into them, or, just kind of getting more in touch with your own strange sexuality if you have one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your partners. Communicate.
Yeah.
And get fucking consent on all levels.
Consent.
Really be clear about what it is that you want to explore, and even if you don't, be willing to fuck up, because it's okay. It's really great to fuck up with someone. And not have any judgment. Be like, oh my God, we just did this thing and that was horrible. Or, oh my God, we did this thing and I didn't expect that and I freaking love it and I want to do more of it. You know, give yourself that space to explore passionately, willingly, and just go for it. Use lube. Get tested.
Spit is not enough.
Spit is not a thing. It is not a thing. It should not be in your bedroom unless it's going into somebody's mouth. Or
only a thing in pornos.
Yeah, I mean, you can use spit, I use spit, but not to actually lubricate anything.
Right.
That's not an option.
It's more for effect.
Yeah, and don't use coconut oils. Be aware of what breaks down barriers. Use barriers. Get tested. And again, get consent. But have fucking fun, man, and do filthy things, and do butt stuff, and have no judgment.
Pleasure is actually a really important part of life, you know, and we receive pleasure in many different ways, like food and wearing nice clothes, and maybe pleasure comes from some other things, but sexual pleasure is actually very empowering when you can get in touch with it in a way that everybody wins, and you find your own power in it, and being able to communicate that, like Ashley says, how to reach it and how to have your partner help you reach it, is something that I think a lot of women are just now starting to do and to find their voice. And I highly encourage, especially women, to be much more vocal to their partners and communicating what brings them pleasure.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Yes, about the anal. So I remember you wanted to talk about some pet peeves too. Did we cover that already?
Yes, and now I'll just take a little.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so this is a fairly interesting time. You watch the news, you pay attention to anything, and it's things are kind of fucked up in regards to like the boundaries that women have set and men keep disregarding, right?
Yeah.
Specifically.
Wait, can you say that a little louder for the people in the back?
Okay, there have been some issues. A lot of things, the focus is where women have set these boundaries and men are they're crossing them, they're disregarding them. And this is not a not all men kind of moment. This is not a generalization. If you turn on the news, if you pay attention to anything, you can see that this is a constant.
Yeah, it's not an opinion.
It's not. It's not. You know, and something that is especially prevalent in the kink community. There's a thing going on right now. This is something that I've experienced personally in kink partnerships and relationships and, you know, client engagements, where submissive men will use their submissiveness as kind of a tool for kind of antagonizing or instigating harassment or harm in some way against submissive women, dominant women, sex workers in general, women that aren't even sex workers, but just using their submissiveness as a guise, be like, oh, I'm not really crossing any boundaries or anything, and I'm just so desperate to serve you that I really don't give a crap about anything that it is that you're saying that you need, or any kind of space that it is that you're saying that you need to kind of walk away whole. You know, any boundary that you've set, it's being disregarded. And because it's under this idea of like, I'm a submissive man, I can't do that, you know, that's bullshit. Men, take accountability. It's not okay, whether you're submissive, whether you're dominant, it does not fucking matter, yo. Like, respect and understand and have awareness and take a fucking moment to really sit and listen. And hear what someone is saying, whether it is a woman, whether it is another man, whether it is a submissive partner, whatever. Take that time to really understand what someone is saying and back up when they've said it, whether it is something that they've said physically, as we speak on a number of different levels. So if someone's body language has changed, if someone is constantly closing off from you, if someone is making it very clear that they are uncomfortable, if they say the words no, back up, stop, anything of that nature, take a moment, back up. Because this, oh, it's so terrifying to be a man, bullshit. This, I'm submissive so I can't really cross your boundary, bullshit.
Yeah. Take
accountability, have respect, and listen.
Yeah, there's some cases of men that have labeled themselves submissive, that are still kind of like projecting a somewhat lecherous energy onto women who they want to be submissive to. And just because you've used this word submissive to kind of like get yourself in, it doesn't mean that it's like necessarily a free ticket to whatever it is that you want to have done to you. There still needs to be absolute consent, and again, sometimes consent can be reversible, like if the woman says, or if the other person says, no, I've decided not to do that, you know, like, don't go down the path of like, oh, why? And,
and badgering.
And, yeah, like, just be like, okay, maybe there's somebody else better for me.
Right.
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. And I know that some of you guys are just dying to ask questions. So we're gonna ask one more last fun question, and it would be, what are your vices and virtues?
Vices and virtues. Okay. Well, I said earlier, curiosity is probably one of my vices and virtues.
Some of them are both, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I'm like, I am. Oh God, I'm so curious about everything.
Everything. I want to know what's inside your drawers.
No, I want to know what's like.
I want to know why you picked underwear.
All of your orifices.
Yeah, totally. I mean, everybody's different, you know,
Yeah.
and so like we are infinitely curious about everybody.
Yes, yes. And what did that eyebrow raise mean? Was that like a muscle twitch? Or are you thinking something? Are you plotting? Like,
Right,
I'm very curious,
Yeah.
and I ask whys constantly,
Okay.
which can probably be annoying sometimes. But
Well, yeah.
it's okay.
Well, can I ask you, my own personal question is, what is your sun sign and your rising sign, if you know that?
Okay, so I am Aries sun.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Fire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Scorpio rising.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see that. Okay, I mean, I don't know if any of you guys even know what that means. I think maybe Jenny does.
Yeah.
But
What are yours? What are yours?
My sun sign is Sagittarius, so we are fire sisters, and I
Sag.
definitely feel that. And my rising is Aquarius, and I don't know
okay.
if,
I can definitely feel Aquarius
Yeah,
in there. Yes.
the weirdest sign of them all. Which,
I love Aquarius.
I own
though.
that shit. It's so weird.
You are, but that's the greatest part.
Yeah, I definitely see the Scorpio. You're like, let me penetrate into
Yes.
you.
Get in there. Yeah, I'm kind of intense and crazy. But,
I love it.
Part of my charm.
Awesome.
What's your moon?
My moon is Leo. And
Yeah.
yours?
Nice, Virgo.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, very grounded.
Yeah.
I need those things to like feel like, you know, you need the solid things in life, the luxury.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
I'm also
Donna?
very meticulous and very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate that about Virgos. People say shit about Virgos, and I'm just like, you know,
We
there's
love Virgos.
great things about every sign.
Yeah.
And there's shitty things about every sign.
Of course.
They just are what they are. Okay, so maybe we can open up the floor for questions while we talk about some of your future endeavors, projects, travels, announcements, anything that you'd like to promote on here and share with everybody else. Basically, also your website and your social media handles.
Okay. Well, I'll start with website, social media. My website is ashleypaigenyc.com. That's ASHLEYPAIGE.NYC.com. My fetish website is Mistress Paige NYC, which is MISTRESSPAIGE.NYC.com. You can find me on Instagram as @MistressPaigeNYC, Twitter,
Ashley?
Snapchat, and I think everything else except for Instagram is Ashley Paige NYC. Let's see. That's social media. That's my websites.
Travels?
Travels. So I have.
And just so you guys know, you can ask questions now. Now is your time. Yes. Hello.
Get in here. Give them to me. Give them to me.
This is your moment to penetrate Ashley Paige's mind.
Yes, this is They just joined.
Oh,
let's see. What's up,
what's the
Anthony?
topic?
Good
Okay.
to see you.
All right.
So this is an interview where you should join in. You should see what this
You
is.
should
I've
ask
been
questions.
advertising this. Come on
Ask
now.
questions.
Ask me a question.
Yes.
What do you want to know?
What do you want to know?
So travels. I am actually, for the most part, I am in New York until November, in which I'm going to Chicago and then DC. But otherwise, I'm basically here.
Okay.
I have a lot of friends coming into town, and we are planning a whole bunch of filthy, nasty, and kinky good times. So you should check out my Instagram and my Twitter for all of that information. Ooh, and my Snapchat too, because we are filming content. Like I said, I'm just getting into. Well, I've been procrastinating on doing filming for a long time, so I'm just getting into it diligently and adamantly putting everything up. So we're going to be shooting a bunch of content. I'll be releasing my clips for sale on my OnlyFans and all of my updated paid subscriptions and my XXX site and all of that stuff by Halloween. So
look out! And how
ready.
do we get to those? I know how. Okay, so OnlyFans posts to Twitter, so you'll want to follow her on Twitter, Ashley Paige NYC on Twitter, and then your clips also post to Twitter, right?
Post to Twitter.
Okay.
I'm actually, so I'll have a full link list on my Twitter and on my Instagram, as well as on my Mistress Page NYC site and my link tree, which is linktr.ee/mistresspagenyc. That has all of my links. And yeah,
that's just like house all your links, and that's it.
And you can use it on social media because since they're like with Sesta Foster, they're pulling a lot of the sites. You can put it on Linktree. It's for free. Have all of your stuff there. Link it out. It's brilliant.
Wow.
Yep.
Somebody asked if BDSM was legal in
You better not.
Yeah, right. You don't have our number.
Show no.
In Vegas, San Fran, and New York. And I do know that fetish work is legal in New York and San Fran. I don't know about Vegas. It seems like a lot of things are kind of shifting in Vegas right now. Like, they've done some funny things with some of the houses there, and so I'm not really sure what's going on with Vegas. I know that at one time prostitution was legal out there. But I do know, and this is so strange, that Rhode Island is, like, has prostitution and marijuana are legal in Rhode Island.
What?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
I don't think it ever happened. I think it's always just been. But it's just like such a safe haven that people don't really talk about it because they don't want anything to change. And it's such a small place. So that's what I've heard. It may not be a fact. It may just be, a rumor. Not true. Okay, so so I lied.
Burst
Sorry,
that bubble.
guys. I know, right? Strap-on is legal in NYC. Strap-on is a gray area that, so we just, leave it off the topic.
So strap-on, I noticed that a couple of years ago, everything was changed from specifically something to strap-on play.
Right.
Breath play.
Yeah, the play.
So is that where the gray area comes in, where it's just kind of this idea?
Okay, so penetration is technically illegal. But they don't specify what's penetrating what. Used to be, but not now. Okay, thank you, Man Peach. Thank you, sadly, for clarifying. I think that you were the one that I got that information from, and I just hadn't been updated on. Anyway, so if you're using, like your body to penetrate somebody else's body, technically that's prostitution. But if you're using an object to penetrate somebody else's body, I think that is still a gray area of context, and it's really up to the judges and everybody else involved to interpret that. Okay. So that's why it's gray. And that's why we don't really talk about that.
Right. Kind of tiptoe around it.
Yeah.
There's a lot we tiptoe around.
Yeah.
Especially in this post-Sesta Foster
Oh,
age.
yeah. I'll take a swing. Favorite city for the kink versus favorite city you've traveled to? Favorite city for the kink and versus favorite city that you've traveled to?
I haven't been to Berlin yet. This is not a question that I can answer. Like, New York is pretty much to my top so far. I've been disappointed in a lot of other places.
Okay.
I go to Florida fairly often for, like, some of those events, but I need to get to Europe before I can answer that question, honestly.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Like, I have not played. Weirdly enough, someone fly me out. Someone fly me
Someone
out.
fly her out. I think it might help to... Ever been to Dallas? Did you miss everything that we've been talking about? We,
You're
just
behind
live in
me.
Dallas, okay? And how would I get in trouble? You want to get in trouble.
Oh, they're talking about penetration?
Oh, well, that depends on whether there's money being exchanged or whether there's a video camera or not. So, strangely enough, if you are having sex with somebody in your home, and there's no money exchange, that's perfectly legal. If you're having sex with somebody in your home and there's money being exchanged, that's illegal. If you're having sex with somebody in your home and there's a video camera present, that's legal. And if there's money being exchanged and there's a video camera present, that's also legal. So as
That's
long
how
as
porn is not prostitution, by the way.
Right. So as long as you have a camera around, it's legal.
Yep.
Because you're making entertainment.
Yeah. From Africa, Kenya. Nice.
Oh, hello hello out there in Africa. So camera and money, it's legal. Pretty much.
Which is kind of funny that everybody's becoming a content creator now.
Right. Because we want to stay on the legal side of things because
Right.
decriminalization hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it will. Any state that I'm not totally sure about, I do know about New York. And that's all I really know about, like, the legal
It is.
parts.
Law is very, very crazy.
Wow, the law is weird. Yeah, I know, right? That's true in Rhode Island too. So, but girls don't like being on camera. I think that's a generalization that maybe you are projecting, because there's tons of actresses that are into porn, you know,
Right.
or that do porn performing.
Right.
How about Texas? That I don't know. There's not a huge porn industry in Texas. Texas is a part of the Bible Belt. I kind of sort of doubt that that producing porn content is legal in Texas. I do know that fetish work is legal in Texas. And I go to Houston. How to secure the videos?
What do you mean?
What do you mean, Alicia?
Like
secure them, like to encrypt them, or
how do you make them happen? Or?
Well, while we wait for clarification, let's see if there's anything else.
How to make them not go viral?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a tricky question.
Right. So you were talking about clips for sale, right?
Yes.
And how is that, like, somewhat secure, or?
So I'm just getting on there and really like still exploring the site.
Yeah.
I know that, and I may be confusing this with like some of the cam sites that I was looking at, but you can block off certain IPs and states, so your videos and your content doesn't get out to certain areas if you don't want it to. That can, honestly, once it's out on the internet, it can be potentially bypassed. So if you're going to be posting content, that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's out there forever.
Yeah, essentially. So that's a major consideration.
Right.
As far as like shooting content and maybe not releasing it and encrypting it, that would be something different. But I think you would have a number of different concerns than what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, even if you like made it a VHS tape and super obscure, I think there would be somebody out there that had the means to create it like digitally or to transfer it digitally. So you never really know. So I mean, if you want to make pornography, you just need to be ready for these things.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So Ashley has a clips for sale site that that she'll be releasing in later in October near Halloween.
Yes. I'm messing up. I'm ruining it.
Oh no! Just there you go. Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
I don't want anyone but me recording. Okay. Well then keep it super private.
Right. You can record yourself and have a party.
But
and
just
it's like it's not.
Yeah.
The thing.
But also like the whatever app you have on your phone, just be aware that it's very possible that the government is spying on you. And I'm not going to go too far into my conspiracy theories, but a lot of these apps that access your camera and stuff like that, you are somewhat vulnerable to them, taking your content and viewing it or whatever. So just kind of be aware that that's out there. Like, nothing on your phone is extremely secure unless you never get on a cellular network or wireless network.
Let me see. So someone had asked, Ashley, what is breath play? Because I've heard you mention that before. What does it consist of? So, breath play.
Breath play.
Love breath play. It is manipulation of your breath. It's simple, honestly. It can be as intense or as non-intense, as non-invasive as you can, as you'd like. There's extremes from just, the minimal is just choking, placing your hand, just very lightly. Can just softly manipulate someone's breathing, right? Then you can get into a little bit of breath control play, right? And cover the nose, cover the mouth. You can get into gags, you can get into hoods, you can get into latex back beds.
You can get into brown paper bags.
Oh my God. I mean, the possibilities are really endless. But breath play it's just simply manipulating someone's breathing and kind of adding whatever sadistic twist onto it that you would want to. That's really my definition.
There's definitely safe ways to do it, and then there's not safe ways to do it, as you may have heard of some people dying of autoerotic asphyxiation.
Right.
So if you ever want to engage in breath play, either do it with a professional or make sure that you have researched it and maybe even YouTubed it or whatever, because YouTube has everything, so that you know what you're doing and that you're not going to cause somebody to die.
Right.
Or cause yourself to die.
And keep in mind, sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
You don't need to be super aggressive. A violent shaking, a violent choking can really severely, fatally injure someone. So you need to be very aware of what it is that you're doing. But,
Yeah, and there's ways of controlling the breath without, like, cutting off the trachea, which is also, or the esophagus, I'm sorry. And it's all kind of in the same area, so you just want to maybe do a little bit of playing around on your own self and maybe a little bit of research on that too.
So I took a class with Troy Arlene's. Hey, Troy.
Oh, yeah.
But there was a class that she had at her space, and we learned a little bit more about some breath play options.
Oh, was this recent?
Yes.
Oh
my God. Yeah,
it was
really,
really
good.
Because that was also a few other things too, right?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was the cleaning. It was a lot of things.
Yeah, okay.
But one of the things in regards to breath play that we learned, like something, instead of like wrapping your hands around, you can do something really light simply by just lightly pressing not on the Adam's apple.
Under?
Yeah.
Under my Adam's apple?
Yeah, there you go. And you can just lightly press.
Lightly. She said lightly.
Lightly. Do not do this. Okay? Moderation is key. But you can lightly. So just lightly press.
Yeah.
You can breathe in deeply. You can press even more deeply. Too much?
No, it's okay.
And it's really light. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah, but it's restrictive. Like you can hear my voice sound kind of like a chipmunk.
Right. You get the job done.
Yeah, totally. And it's not like, you don't want to jab anybody or like, this isn't judo, it's play.
Yeah. Don't hurt someone.
Right. Unless, All right, so, let's see.
We have probably no more time.
Can you pull up your sleeve and show your tats? Y'all crazy. Yes, we are. Thank you. Wearing catsuit boots, you could definitely smother me with a brown paper bag. Oh, somebody else just said the exact same thing. Okay, one more question, and then we gotta go. What question do you want to answer?
Hi, Troy. What's up, boo?
Did you sign in?
Yes, right there.
Oh, hey! Yay!
See her from like mile away.
We were just talking about your awesome like class demo workshop thing.
Yes. And like the breath play.
Yeah. Did you see Ashley choke me?
It was so cute. Okay, so one question.
Yes.
Do you find it less fun to play with someone who
she's in Berlin.
is just as kinky? Yeah, I know. Just as kinky versus a sub, or someone who's just as kinky? Oh, do I find it less fun to play with someone who is just as kinky versus a sub? Do I find it less fun?
Well, is a sub necessarily less kinky?
Yeah. That's kind of a...
Hi, Pimp Daddy Jeff.
I'm not saying hi to you, buddy.
Find it less fun to play with someone who just kinky. Oh, right. Okay, so like maybe somebody who isn't kinky.
Oh.
Right. Versus somebody
who's just submissive.
Or somebody who's like maybe has a fetish rather than is necessarily submissive.
Oh, no, I love fetishes. And even though I love power exchange, it's not the only thing that I engage in. I have like an endless list of kinks and fetishes and kinky proclivities that I love engaging in, and power exchange is just one of them. So I have people that are dominant, don't have a submissive bone in their body, and all they want to do is just freaky stuff, and we explore things in whatever capacity that shows up. It's not about them being submissive to me. And some people just don't engage in power exchange in any context whatsoever, and that's perfectly fine too, so that's kind of something that's removed from our play versus someone that's submissive. I mean, if you're submissive, I will definitely have my way with you. So
that's the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun to play with play with all different kinds of people as long as they understand what they're getting into and who they are. If you're not submissive and you try to be submissive, then that's not going to be fun for you.
Right.
So Troy requested that you choke me again, and then we're gonna cut out of here.
Gladly, and I will do it safely to demonstrate.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. Oh.
Breathe.
Yeah. That's the part. That's kind of the part that I forget to do. Is breathe.
Right. Then you can really tell what's happening.
It's so gentle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is fun.
Yeah.
This is so nurturing.
Oh.
Right.
Just kidding. All right, we're done here. Thank you guys for tuning in and for being so polite and inquisitive, asking such great questions.
Yes.
Ashley Paige NYC, Mistress Ashley Paige.
Nope. Mistress Paige NYC.
Mistress Paige NYC.
Ashley Paige NYC.
All right.
Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, and her website, and so look for her. If you have any further inquiries, my name is Dia Dynasty, and I am one half of La Maison de Rouge. We broadcast every Monday here on Periscope, so hopefully we'll see you next Monday, and goodbye.
Bye, guys.